following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hi, you're listening to The Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, it's post-holiday Pipeman going into pre-holiday Pipeman, and we have an amazing show today because I have two amazing show hosts that do shows on the West Coast station, K4HD Radio, which this show rebroadcasts on. And basically, even though you would think these two shows don't tie together, they really do. So one of them is called Hit the Road, Jack, Finding the Zodiac. And this is Nanette Barto, who is my resident on the show, expert of everything, even though she doesn't think so. True crime, serial killers, but most importantly, the Zodiac. And then we have also, now I love the name of this show, except when you go on Apple Podcasts, it only gives like the first letter of one of the words, okay? But it's 50 Shades of Bullshit. Forget all those other 50 Shades things. This is the real deal, okay? And this radio show / podcast, it talks about all the bullshit that goes on in dating and online dating, but it talks about good stuff too. And we're going to get a little taste today. But what I want to know from my audience is, what is scarier to you during this holiday season? Dating or serial killers? And we're going to bring our pipe nuts on and our two guests, and we're going to discuss this. And anybody has any comments, they can send some comments in from wherever they are watching or listening. And so there we have the pipe nut in our Wellington studio, just a stone's throw from where I am. I almost went to a studio today that I'm like, nah. And so there he is. What do we call him, Rebel? What's his pipe nut name?
I don't remember. I don't think we settled on one specifically yet.
Remember how Jason was king of Munchkin Land? Speaking of which, I did go see the movie Wicked with my granddaughter. And oh my God, it was so funny. My granddaughter, okay, she's 10 years old, and she, like 5 minutes in, she's like, I thought this was going to be like the original movie. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, well, it's like a musical. I'm like, yeah, so was the original movie. But she did have a differentiation. It was very smart because, the first movie, yeah, it's a musical, but there is a lot more talking. But of course, you have Judy Garland, who, of course, she's going to be known for singing. Okay. But in this one, it is like I'm on Broadway, going to see a Broadway show of the backstory to the Wizard of Oz. And that I don't know. If the kid doesn't, she said it was good. I don't believe her. She was doing this because it's a 3-hour movie. Towards the end of the movie, she's like sliding down in her seat, twisting around. I'm like, I turn over. Are you okay? Are you okay? And then I told her, like, I don't like going to movies. I'd rather watch at home so I can do whatever I want. And, I like to multitask. But also, I do not watch movies in the dark. Not because I'm scared of dark. I just like light. Okay. I like brightness. I have enough darkness in my life for the past 58 years that I don't need it while I'm watching the movie. No, and what happens is I'll fall asleep. I never sleep except turn the lights off, put me in a recliner, and put a movie on, and in 30 seconds I'm out. Okay. So usually in a movie theater, that's what would happen. But this time it wasn't happening. But the reason it wasn't happening is because she kept annoying me. She kept checking to see if I was awake and doing like this to me. And then finally, like she throws a blanket on me and I threw it back at her. I'm like, can I watch the movie, please? So anyway, that was my Wicked review. If anybody else has seen the movie, give us your review. Have any of you seen the movie Wicked?
Not yet. No intention on it.
Christine, I read the book. You didn't go out on a bad date, go see the movie Wicked?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
And Nanette,
not dating advice.
Do you think serial killers went to go see Wicked?
No.
Unless they were stalking somebody who was like going to
in the movie. Yeah.
Like, why do you not think that serial killers would be at Wicked? What kind of movie would a serial killer be at?
They're busy planning their next crime.
Like, do they watch Dexter as research?
Yes,
that's what
I do.
Listen,
I do too.
I've thought about this for years. Okay, so like we do all these documentaries and made for TV movies, and all you're freaking doing is giving them all ideas. Like, I've gotten some really good ideas, and I do have a list. I have a list of people that if I ever should snap and become a serial killer, I know who's on the list.
Yeah. So you call a woman because we're really good at true crime shit. Okay. Just saying.
Okay. Now this is getting interesting. Now this is getting interesting. Now, Christine, you do a show about the 50 Shades of Bullshit, but yet you also are a true crime expert too.
Well, all women who are smart and intelligent and beautiful watch true crime shows. They listen to true crime podcasts, and we are experts. All my friends know. They just call me because I got the lime and the shovel in the back. I'm ready to go.
I have two shovels.
And you just proved my point, okay? Because my thought process is that, okay, so if you're so into all this serial killer stuff, you might be psycho too, okay? And I admit it. I admit I'm into
psycho.
I admit it. I'm into it too, but I don't know if all the marbles were left in my playpen. I'm just saying.
Where the fuck around and find out, crazy?
Yes, Sappho.
Well, listen. Okay, Gen Xers, which I am a part of, and some people on the show are, some aren't. There's one in particular I know isn't. He's part of that entitled generation, whatever they are.
Millennial.
No, which generation are you, Juan?
I think I'm a millennial.
He's millennial.
Yeah.
But you're a younger millennial because they're okay. So I have 4 kids. I
think millennial ends at 96. Everything after that is like Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Yeah. So because
I'm like the last of the millennials.
Yeah, my daughter is 95, but she's more Gen Z than millennial. And there's a definite difference between my 4 kids. The 2 older ones are older millennials, and they're more like Gen X than the younger millennials are. The younger millennials are closer to Gen Z, but they still are embarrassed by Gen Z too. Is that a correct assumption, Juan?
For the most part, yes.
What generation are you, Rebel?
Shh, we don't say. Take a guess.
Listen, it's a many-year range. I'm not asking your age, okay? I'm just asking what
But if you put yourself in a decade, then you kind of figure it out.
It's not.
No.
Well, see, that's where things have gone wrong because it used to be a generation was defined by 25 years, but not anymore. It's just like as soon as somebody becomes a little older, then it's a new generation. It's just like technology.
I
But
do have
anyway.
to
I feel like I
say-
didn't even really understand them until they came out with Tide Pods. Then I had to start figuring out what generation was
Well,
like.
Well, listen,
Old enough not to eat Tide
my
Pods, that's what I am.
generation.
I'm old enough to not, yes.
Listen, my generation did elephant tranquilizers. Their generation did Tide Pods. Listen, the generation before us, like, what a bunch of idiots doing elephant tranquilizers. You know, so
Lord help us all.
it's all perception. Like, Juan probably thinks we're all idiots. Is that right?
Probably so.
Hey, I'm a proud card carrying Gen X. Okay, we are badass motherfuckers. We really are. There ain't shit we
had to
can't handle.
survive from the day we were born. Okay, like, you know, literally, I was my parents' parents. It kind of sucks too because you get gypped. Okay, because you think you're going to become an adult and you get certain privileges. No, you don't. You like. You have to take care of your parents like you're their parents, and then you got to take care of your kids like they're your parents, and you never get. What does that say?
Adulting is bullshit. Yes, 50 Shades of it.
I don't even know what not adulting is. Okay, like, listen, it's 50 Shades of Gen X parenting. That's what it is. Listen,
Yeah,
but think about it. We drank out of a hose and it was just fine. And now, like, God forbid, you shouldn't have some hybrid, organic, healthy, non-GMO, non-gluten.
Wait,
that's what the hose was, though.
Yes.
In all fairness, the hose was safer than tap water these days. Okay, that's a genuine fact.
See, the thing about our parents is they were smart. They knew how to multi-purpose things. So the garden hose would, you know, hose down your garden, water your lawn. You could drink out of it when you didn't want to let the kid back in the house.
Entertain the children.
Right. You
in some people's life, it was a whooping hose.
That's right. And you used it to tie up people. Use it to tie up people. I mean, I don't know if anybody.
It didn't work well to tie up people.
Well, it kind of does if you turn the water on. Okay.
No, because the knots never stayed.
No. What happens is it's like a snake that constricts. That's what it does. So
yeah, but the knots never stayed. When you turn the water on, it kind of cut off the. I mean, I don't know. Never do I
was
know
like,
this for
I tested this shit. Trust me.
Speaking of serial dating and garden hoses.
Yes.
How many people on this show here think that that's a fetish to get choked by a garden hose?
I've not heard of it yet, but we can add it to the list.
I mean,
garden hose choking.
You would think that would be a Gen X fetish since hoses were for everything. A hose makes a good bidet too. Just saying.
Okay.
That's
seems a little cold.
Close, just saying.
And on that note.
All right. So in all, there you go.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies.
Gary.
How are you doing?
Hi, Gary.
Gary, we're doing fantastic.
Not talking about us. Who's sleeping? Rebel, you're sleeping?
Charles is commenting on you're sleeping through the movie.
No.
He's sleeping. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
So what he's saying is Rebel sleeps during sex.
No. No.
I highly doubt that.
I do not.
Our
Hello,
girl
not
here
even
is
if it's not good.
Tiger.
Hello, Mike Wagner. He's
Hello, Mike.
very cool and a great podcaster, radio show personality as well. Okay, so let's talk seriously. What do you? Let's all take a poll right now, and then we'll discuss what's scarier during the holidays: dating or serial killers. Juan, speaking from the Hispanic community, what's their vote?
Dating 100%.
I knew it. I knew it for the Hispanic community. I knew it. Okay. Representing the KKK, maybe, I don't know.
Don't say that.
Well, you don't know. Like Rebel. Okay, Rebel lives on a street where they still don't allow people of color to live.
I do not live there anymore. I do not have
anymore.
Not lived
See,
there for 11 years.
Anymore. Okay.
So
Rebel.
you can't control the population in some cities. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't. Okay,
Just so you guys know, Rebel's name on this show is Swamp Nut. She runs our Louisiana studio, so she's Swamp Nut. Okay, so funny enough, we have a swamp right behind Juan too. Like we got the Everglades is like 2 blocks away from our Wellington studio. Okay, so Rebel, how about you?
Dating.
Wow. It looks like it's going to be a landslide. Okay. We have to go to Christine because we guys leave the serial killer expert for last. Okay,
I'm going to say dating a serial killer.
Oh, but that would be awesome. Just think of Dexter and Hannah McKay.
Oh, Charles said it too. Yeah,
look at that. So you guys said at the same time. That means that's a wish now. That somebody's going.
All right,
I
Charles,
think
let's go.
Rebel's going to get that wish true. Okay, and here we are.
How do you know I haven't dated a serial killer? Okay, how do you know?
I know you probably have. Okay, you live in Louisiana.
She probably would be the serial killer.
She lives in Louisiana. The probability, if you figured out the statistical research, is it would be harder for her to get herpes than it would to date a serial killer in Louisiana. Just saying.
Okay, in all fairness, my nickname once upon a time was Small Fee. Okay, just saying. Now y'all figure what that meant. Okay,
Small fee.
For a small fee, I'll take care of what you need taken care of, and not in a sexual way.
You want to know what mine is? Big
I have
fee.
2 shovels.
I am big fee mama. Mm-hmm.
Hey, since we're talking about that, what are your? But first, we'll get Nanette. We'll do both of her answers. I also want to know what your opinion of what Lorena Bobbitt did was, and this will prove what generation you're in too. Nanette, tell us what's scarier. You're the expert on serial killers. What's scarier?
Well, I'm going to roll with you. Dating a serial killer, you're likely the person who's the safest because he's not trying to kill you.
That's actually true.
Unless you don't please him, and then you're teetering on that,
Can I ask the 2 experts a question? Okay, seriously then, because now you've scared me. Okay, because anybody that is part of my show knows that I always list the 3 loves of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Just so happens 2 of them aren't even real people; they're characters. So I don't know what that says. It might give Norman Bates vibes. I don't know, but anyway. Number one,
fear of commitment.
Number 1 is Harley Quinn. There you go. Serial killer. Okay.
Sweet
Number 2 is Hannah McKay. Okay. Do you know who Hannah McKay is? Who does not know who Hannah McKay is here?
I don't
Okay.
I don't know.
It's from the TV show Dexter. Do you know about Dexter?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the final relationship he has. She's a serial killer. He's a serial killer. She accepts both sides of him, good and bad, and not only accepts, but embraces it. And then he loses his urge to kill because of being able to be completely who he is. Like,
did they ever have overlapping lists? Like, if they're both serial killers, did they ever have the same people on their list at the same time to see?
No, because they kill for different reasons. You know,
are you talking about the one that was on Manchurian Candidate?
No, it's a series.
From
It's a
Dexter,
series.
the blonde one?
No, I know. I'm talking about Hannah McKay because that's not her real name, right? That's her Dexter name.
That's her Dexter name.
Right.
Yeah. I think she is in the Manchurian Candidate. I think you're right. I think you're right.
Her name is Yvonne Strahovski or something like that.
I don't care what her real name is. I like her character name better. Okay. Listen, I am in love with both of them, and they're both serial killers. I don't know. And then, okay, here's the psychoness of me, right? Okay, go ahead, Christine.
You're a fear of commitment.
Except, okay, first, thing one. I don't know if you know this, but my ex-wives are thing one and thing two. Okay. If you ever meet thing one, she will say you probably know me as thing one if she knows you've been on my radio show. Okay. So thing one, I met her. 6 days later, had the first date. 3 weeks later, proposed. Month after that, got her pregnant. Few months after that, moved into a brand new apartment. Month after that, got married. So commitment issues have not been really a problem then. Okay. Thing two, best friends for 18 months. Had a thing for her from the day I met her. Typical thing, like you have that thing, but you just don't say anything because you don't want to fuck it up. End up sexually doing something by mistake.
How do you do that by mistake? Exactly.
Okay, I'll tell you.
He tripped and fell in.
No, you guys, do you guys want to know
one after the other?
They were
do you guys want to know the
ring
story?
We do want to know
Okay.
the story.
Okay. All right. So me and her and Chad and Heather were like best friends that hung out all the time. For those of you that don't know, Chad was the head engineer. Chad was the head engineer of the network since the very beginning. One of my best friends in Florida, incredible musician. And he passed away a few years back, but him and Heather were a duo, a country rock duo. He had a metal band in the 80s and he did a country rock thing. He always used to say, I love metal, I love country, and I love Neil Diamond. And he would sing Neil Diamond. You would swear it was Neil Diamond.
Neil.
Okay. And he was the funniest drunk you ever met. There was Chad and then there was Brad. Okay. And then you would go to one of their shows and they'd have two sets. First set was Chad, second set was Brad. And Brad was a lot of fun, but Brad was definitely a shit show too. Okay. So we used to hang out all the time, and like if my daughters were sleeping over at their friend's house, we would hang out at my house, and then Nikki, thing two, would leave.
She has a name.
She would leave, going home to her apartment, and she would like text me a lot of times, you want to come over? Because I would never let her stay over my house, because even if my daughters were out, in case they came home, because you know how that goes. They go out and sleep over, something happens, some other girl pisses them off and they want to come home, or you got to go bring them a tampon at 2 a.m. in the morning and stuff like that. And I say this because I did do all this all the time. Okay. But
all the time?
Yeah, pretty much. Listen, I have 3 daughters. Okay.
Prepared. You should have taught them to prepare.
And you know what's funny? You know what we do on this show? When people call me during my show, they get to go on the air. So watch this. Hello, you're live on the air on the Adventures of Pipeman. Oh, we're great. We're talking about, I might as well ask you this question. We're talking about on the show, what's scarier during the holidays, dating or a serial killer?
A serial killer.
Okay, well, that says a lot about you, because you're the first one to say serial killer. Even the serial killer expert on my show said dating. So, but the ultimate, which I enjoy, is dating a serial killer. So if you know any, let me know. Get me their digits. Okay.
I can pretend if you like.
All right. You are live on the air. So if you want to give yourself a plug for your business or whatever you do, go ahead. If not, get off my show and hang up.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Aw.
She's like,
plug
"Please."
for the business.
Deuces. Hi.
Okay.
No plug for
So
business.
serial killer. Interesting.
My friend in the I would say late 70s, early 80s was her boyfriend turned out to be a serial killer.
Wow. Well, I don't know if any of
During
my
the-
exes were serial killers because I don't know if they got to 3. There's 3 or more, right? Is that what makes you
more
a
than
serial
one.
killer?
More than
No, I think it has to be like 3 or more.
I think you
let's-
might be getting
Nanette.
into mass murders if you're going 3 or more.
Well, isn't
Are we
that what
talking at one time or individually?
isn't a serial killer somebody that's a mass murderer? Serial killers don't usually just kill one, or they're not serial.
Mass
They have
murderers
to
are
motive.
many-
I think the difference is that a mass murderer kills them all at the same time. A serial killer
Exactly.
does it over time.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Good. Juan, I knew we had you on the show for some sensibility here
I'm
because
pretty sure he's got Google in front of him. Mr.
he's the
Millennial.
only one that made sense this whole time. Okay,
I
including
said
me.
it. I was telling you, you kill more than one at a time.
Yeah, that's a serial killer. But
I
it has
said the
to be-
same
No,
thing, but
more
you know,
than
he
one at
just
a time
skated
is
right
a
over
mass.
us.
Here, Juan, can you Google how many people you have to murder to get the promotion up to serial killer? Because it's a promotion. You go from killer to serial killer. I mean, like, if I were a killer, I would strive to want to be a serial killer.
You got to perfect your art.
Okay, so according to the dictionary, it's a person who commits a series of murders, often with no apparent motive and typically following a characteristic, predictable behavior pattern.
So,
That
Nanette,
didn't answer the question.
More than one,
But it doesn't
basically.
say how many.
More than
yeah,
one.
I think that makes Rebel right. Okay, I hate to admit it, but in this one, the
I
South
know,
has
right?
one. In this one, the South has one.
Here's something else. According to, and this is like very, very accurate because it's coming from Wikipedia. It says a person who murders 3 or more people with the killings taking place over a significant period of time.
See, I
So it has to be
knew,
spread
I
out?
knew it. I knew it was 3. I knew it was 3. So we'll call it a draw. The North and the South are the draw. You get to keep your slaves. We get rid of ours.
We don't have any, and we don't want any. Everybody's a free person.
Do you have a maid? Do you have a maid?
No.
Okay, then you don't have a slave. Do you have
Well,
pets?
they're paid.
I know,
If
right?
you're paid, you're not a slave.
Oh,
you're
okay, that's
Contract
so
worker.
if you're paid, and since you're the dating expert or the 50 Shades of Bullshit expert, if you're paid for sex, is that
Yeah.
the same philosophy?
It's prostitution. It's the oldest trade in the book.
It's a sex work, and it's a thriving business.
So here's a question.
Oldest
then.
profession in the books.
If you go to get a massage and you get a happy ending, is that
It
prostitution?
costs extra.
It's sex work. It's sex work, but it's So wives, are they slaves for their husbands? Are they sex slaves?
Well, it depends on
And you asked
what
Dean
what
this.
it depends
depends
on
on
what
your
you bought. It depends on what you bought on that day.
I think it depends on your
no,
king.
But then
Listen.
again, she's getting paid.
Well, listen.
Well,
then
the
again,
real question,
how many wives
is,
barter? Go ahead. What's the question?
the real question is like, what is the difference? Like, where do you draw the line between slavery and minimum wage workers?
Mm.
If all your money is
According to
going towards
McDonald's,
food
15
and
an hour.
See
like
that?
your
20
household
here.
That's a great point. See,
like
And
if
how
at the end of
about-
the month you don't have any left over for yourself, like are
How
you
about-
really?
how about prisoners
Mhm.
in prison that get 14 cents an hour? I consider that slavery. They're getting paid.
I consider that fucking lucky because they've got a room, board, and something to do, and they're not out doing bad things they're not supposed to be doing.
They actually had a measure on the ballot this last round in regards to the prisoners having rights to not have to work, to be forced to do the things that they have to do. I thought to myself, like, seriously, that's what we've come to as a society, is that they have rights now.
Well, here's the
More
thing,
than us
though.
most of the
If
time.
you do more research, you find out how much money the system is making
It's
by
ridiculous.
prisoners. So yes, somebody that really did something deserves it, but there's so many people in prison that shouldn't be there or have way more of a punishment than they should, that are used as slavery to do work and produce money. And
Agreed.
I had studied something years ago that basically every prisoner is worth about $800 a day. Now, if you figure out how many people are in the prison system, it's in the millions. That's big, big money. That's why people have wanted to privatize it.
It is. Wait.
It is privatized.
Wait,
Prison is
Christine was going to say, wait,
But here's
Rebel,
the question,
back
though.
off.
Here's the question, though. Is that $800 per prisoner going directly to the prison to feed, house, clothe, and take care of them?
No.
And that's what it should be doing. Our tax money should not be paying for this.
Right.
No, we're paying for that.
Right.
While they're keeping the money for whatever.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
It lies the 50 shades of bullshit.
I have to earn my keep every day, so I don't understand why they would think that their rights are being violated to have to earn their keep every day. I mean, we have to get up and go to work. We have to make our lives go around and pay our bills.
You're right. And then there's the other side of it, is they're not choosing what they want to do for work or have a choice. They're put into something, but they're being punished. So there's that too.
Here's the thing. This is the thing, though. If the money went towards taking care of them properly, then that would be the proper way to do it. And it's okay to then say, hey, you are working off your debt, to society as you are in prison by taking care of themselves. But when our tax money goes there and then that money is paid to line pockets of somebody else, then there lies the problem. And I can understand why they wouldn't want to work then.
Absolutely. So that's why you become a serial killer, right, Nanette?
Or a dater.
So my
I wonder how
question
many
is,
end up being or becoming a serial killer while in prison.
well, yeah, of
Quite a
course,
few,
because
probably.
you have to kill people to survive. So now,
Exactly.
and they don't teach you anything except to be a criminal in prison. People that go to prison basically learn how to be a better criminal.
Yes.
or more of one. So, Nanette, with the Zodiac, what have you found in these realms? And what did you find with the Zodiac? Were things more prevalent during the holidays, or were they actually less prevalent because, serial killers are spending time with their family during the holidays?
Christmas seemed to be a hot time for the Zodiac. So we literally, what we know of the Zodiac in the California area, one of the particular crimes actually happened around Christmas. I was just watching the John Benet Ramsey. Of course, that was a child that was killed during the Christmas season. And it's my belief that was done by a serial killer. So I think that they do have a
So you don't
proclivity
think it was the parents at all?
Oh no, not at all.
for that little girl. No.
I actually am watching the new docuseries right now. I'm a little disgusted. I'll be bringing it up. I just finished with the new Zodiac docuseries on Arthur Lee Allen, and I discussed it on my last show. It's terrible how the media and the police have treated these individuals during the time they're supposed to be actively looking for the person who's actually doing the crime, and they're spending all of this time just wasting away the individuals that really can't defend themselves. I mean, at least John Ramsey had some money when he started this entire, or when he came under scrutiny, but in the end it really took everything out of him. It took, his home, it took his wife, it took everything. And to see that they literally cleared him from DNA as early as, I think they held out that information for about 11 months before they actually acknowledged that they had been cleared from DNA. But then they tried to backpedal and say, well, the DNA wasn't done correctly. No, because even the DA had come back, I want to say in 2008, and she reconfirmed that DNA cleared each of those individuals. So I think that the holidays are a time when people who may or may not have been treated, I mean, they always say somebody comes from a bad, situation or a bad background, and maybe that's a time in their life that things weren't great for them. And that's when they, the rage builds and they decide that this is, the time they're going to take life.
Is that the Zodiac above Rebel's head?
She's got a floating ghost.
There's an orb. There's an orb, and I think that might be the Zodiac coming on the show.
Is it red? It's not a red dot, right? There's no target on me or something.
No.
There's no red dot. Okay,
No, you'll be fine. Just
it's a
don't
sun
move.
flare.
If
Something's
it's what
reflecting.
you think it is, they're a really bad shot because they couldn't get it right on you at all. It's like right next to your head. It's just enough to scare you, Rebel. Maybe they just want to scare you.
Well, if it's above my head and I can't see it, I guess I'm not, really too worried about it.
You can't see it on
It's
your
like
own
somebody's
screen.
got a
Look at it on
mirror.
your own screen.
Do you have a light source coming through, hitting a mirror?
I think she's
because it's moving
she's
around.
doing it on purpose. I think she's doing it on purpose. What do you think, Juan?
Probably her watch.
I think she's messing
Not
with us.
wearing a watch. Not a watch. I do have a
What's
bracelet
that?
on.
That's
It's
what's
probably
wrong.
reflecting off the
Oh.
bracelet.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's back.
Yeah,
Oh, there it
it's
is.
reflection off the bracelet.
Okay, so Christine,
Yes.
with your expertise,
Mhm.
what is your whole viewpoint of the dating during the holidays thing?
Well, dating through the holidays when you're not in a committed relationship is called cuffing. It's cuffing season right now. It typically starts in October, November, and goes through at least February. It's
I'm
a
late in
time.
the game. Teach me how to do this.
Cuffing season is when you don't want to be alone for the holidays and you want to have somebody to go home with when you're with
fuck
family.
that. I want to be alone.
or-
Leave me alone.
or you don't want to celebrate the holidays alone and feel like you're by yourself. So they pair up with somebody for the winter holidays time, and then you're pretty much dumped in either January or February because those people either want to do Valentine's Day with you or they don't, and that's typically about the time that the breakups happen.
So I have a question for you.
Convenient.
I have a question for you. Okay, the part of the thing one story that I didn't say is right around the holidays when we had an apartment being built, we were about to get married, she's pregnant, blah, blah, blah. She broke up with me, quote unquote, because I was too nice. I learned that, and I learned not to do that.
You know what
no,
that's
I'm just
code
kidding.
for? You know what that's code for?
Tell us. I'm
The-
pretty sure, but tell us.
Insecurity and the belief that you're not worthy enough.
I just
So
thought
someone too nice doesn't work for them because they don't think they deserve to be treated that well.
Couldn't
that
she
like
figure
a-
that out before the engagement and before the pregnancy?
Pregnancy.
I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's always around the holidays that stuff like that happens, though, isn't it, Christine? Now that's the opposite. What's the opposite? That's the opposite of it, because I could tell you, all right. So usually during the holidays, I would prefer to be, but that's because I'm the ultimate optimist, except on the holidays. I go. That's my dark time of the year.
No, people get lonely during this time. Maybe you're not around family. Maybe you're a distance from them and you can't go back, or maybe your family just fucking sucks. So, either way, it kind of becomes a time where people can feel like they're alone or lonely, and they're going to parties and they don't want to go by themselves, and they don't want to feel like a loser. So I actually prefer to feel like a
I
loser.
prefer alone.
But people will pair up, and then, or if you've got somebody the opposite, they don't want to meet the family, or they don't want to lead you on with meeting friends, or they're just cheap assholes who don't want to buy you a gift. Those are reasons why a lot of people break up during the holidays too. Or
that's true. And see, the gift part, that would not be me. But what would totally be me is, like, I like being in my own domain during a time like that. I'm not as extrovert as I am, like, in events and business life and here and that, and even in personal life. But usually it's my own domain, no matter where it is. It doesn't mean it's in my actual domain. It's like, but when you're in somebody else's house, and especially if it's somebody that you're meeting for the first time, that's their parents or what have you, that's a very uncomfortable time to do it, is during the holidays.
It's a lot of pressure.
It
is a lot of
and so what happens is too, and you tell me if you find this a lot, no relationship, so
less presents to give for Christmas.
Yeah,
he's
there
saying
you go.
if you don't have a relationship, you're not giving presents out. And that's what I was saying. Maybe someone doesn't want to give presents. So,
but he
money.
said plural.
Yeah,
How many presents do
exactly.
you buy your significant other?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how
I would think
bougie
that-
she is. Okay.
Or how
I
many
would
girls
think
you're
that
dating at once.
pairing up, if you're
Mhm.
lonely, then obviously you have the desire to want to be with somebody. So going to these events alone, better opportunity of matching up with somebody you may want to date in the future. I mean,
Unless all your friends are coupled up, married, in relationships, I'm always the 5th, 7th, 11th will.
Okay, so let's progress to thing 2. Chad and Heather introduced us. Well, Heather did, when she invited both of us without telling, because we didn't know each other, without telling, to Thanksgiving. We were just in Thanksgiving because for some reason that year I wasn't spending it with my kids. I was somebody that, like, I would get bummed out. Like now, I drove up to North Carolina, be with the kids and grandkids for Thanksgiving, drove back. That's what I do. But then if I'm not with them for the holidays, it's kind of a bummer. I'm okay being alone. It's the kids that makes the difference, But
Wait a minute. When
I
you
met
looked
her
up
that
way.
how it became an accident, you never did answer that question.
okay,
Oh, how you accidentally
well-
fell into her vagina with your thingy.
yeah. So here's
Thing
what
three.
I'll tell you what happened. But first, I do want to say is it was Heather Burkett's fault because she introduced us at Thanksgiving. So to your point, Nanette, like if you go somewhere by yourself, you could meet somebody, but considering that's thing 2, that means that I'm no longer with her, which maybe that wasn't a great move. Meeting somebody during the holidays, I don't think is necessarily a great move because of the things Christine's mentioning and the things you may want during the holidays that you won't want after the holidays, or the fact that you're lonely, or the fact that you want to be a part of something. There's so many
I think it would have been
different
different
reasons.
if you intentionally fell in. The fact that you accidentally fell in should have told you all you needed to know.
So, but that wasn't what happened. So we didn't date. We were like best friends for 18 months after we met. Okay. And then one night we were at my house while my daughters were sleeping out, and she texted me after she left, like she normally does. But the text message said, "Want to bone over." And so what did I do? I only trust the advice of a woman in women things. So I go to Heather Burkett and I show her this message. And I'm like, does that mean what I think it means? And she's like,
Autocorrect.
oh yeah.
Yep.
Autocorrect.
She's like,
is
no,
awesome.
she did not say that. She led me believe that that meant what I thought it meant, which was not autocorrect. And she said that. And I'm like, I told her and Chad, I'm like, get the fuck out. And then I,
It's time for you to go now.
that was my exact words. And I drove over to her house. And like, so we were like best friends. It was one of those, like, we would even sleep. I would sleep over and sleep in bed together, but not have sex or anything, even though I wanted to. And basically that night I just went for it because I thought I got the green light. She didn't stop me. The next morning, she's like, what even came over you? What made you do that? And so I told her, and then she punched me in the arm. She's like, you idiot, started laughing and saying, no, want to come over is what it was supposed to mean. So
Come over, bone over.
Bone over. Yeah. It was.
it was wishful
Semantics.
thinking on my part. And
It's
then
semantics.
I was married to her 3 months later. So commitment issues were not the issue, going back to the original reason we were telling this. However, they might be now.
Still holding
But
on.
they might be now. Just saying, they might be now. Who knows? But you know what? What I found at this point in life is, okay, so there's a reason why there's a 52% divorce rate first time, 76% second time, 8% third time. Because the third time you finally are smart enough to pick the one that's right for you and just for you and not for any other reason, not for raising kids, not for how it looks in the community, not because of your parents, not because of your friends, not because of anything else, just somebody that's absolutely perfect for you. And that's why I'm waiting for Harley Quinn.
Or maybe it's true what they say. Third time's a charm.
Right.
I always say it all the time. But now I've gone, my last divorce was 2007. So everybody used to make fun of me after that. Like, oh, you commit quick. You commit quick. So I taught them all a lesson because here I am all these years later and I haven't committed to anybody since then. Well, maybe a little bit. So what is the top 3 things, Christine, as the expert here, that is scary about dating during the holidays? And let's include online dating, because online dating is like the scariest waste of time ever. It used to be good in the beginning. Now it's just like scrolling through TikTok.
Shit show. Yeah, it's a shit show. I don't out here in LA, the problem is that most of the men are lying to get laid, and then they run for the hills.
Just in LA?
Probably not.
That's probably,
I think
as somebody that travels the world, I think it's universal.
That would never happen in Florida.
No, they just kill each other. It's a serial killer. What's that?
Feed you to the iguanas.
Right. I think the problem is that it is a breeding ground for free sex. Men think that if they lie to women and manipulate women,
I live in Florida.
Then
I need to move to LA and get some free sex. It costs a lot of money.
What are you paying for it there?
It costs a lot of money to have sex in Florida. Women in Florida only want to have sex with you if you have money or cocaine. And if you have both, bonus.
It's starting to come that here. We're really fed up with men lying about wanting to be in a relationship, everything. Yeah, pretty much everything. And I'm not just picking on men. Women are the same way. There are women out there doing the same thing. I'm not prejudiced against men or women fucking up and being assholes. But I think that a lot of times people are lying about it, and they don't want relationships because they came out as shitty ones. The problem is they need to fix themselves. Once they start working and fixing themselves, they're going to find better relationships. They're going to find people who don't lie to them because their bullshit meter works. And
well, it is ourselves.
I mean, with the chances of being honest and bumping your head into somebody who also wants the same thing. I mean, yes, they've got a quota they're trying to meet to see how many they can get, but you might actually bump your head into somebody who wants exactly what you want if you tell the truth.
Well, probably in
different
California, I think in California that guys probably have a quota for having sex with every race possible so they can be inclusive.
Diversify.
You never know. You never know. Bullshit meters are going off all the place.
What else is scary?
What else is scary? Well,
How close we take it to the edge of time. Is that how scary it is?
Edge of time?
Yeah. The very edge of that time.
Oh. Are you trying to remind the Pipeman?
Are you trying to say that the show's over? Like,
It's your show.
For someone's
Well,
life.
right to the edge of time.
Right?
That kind of sounds like something a serial killer would say.
Okay.
Just taking it right to that edge.
The Zodiac definitely did.
We're going to have to continue this conversation. But I can tell you, as a Jersey boy, I had a great interview recently, and that's going to be part of next week's show. It's a new documentary about the Jersey sound and the music scene in Jersey. So that's going to be included in the show next week. But real quick, first, Christine, tell everybody all your contact info, all your business info, your show info, and anything you want.
50 Shades of Bullshit. You can find us obviously on K4HD Radio, Facebook, YouTube, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's 50 Shades of Bullshit. You spell out FIFTY. And to reach us, you can email us at 50shadesofbullshit@gmail.com. But with Gmail, they don't allow us to say shit, so we can say shite. It's SHYT. So 50 Shades of Bullshite at gmail.com. Yes, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook as well. The same name, 50 Shades of _bullshit for IG. So there we are.
And Nanette Barto, you do the same thing. Give all your business info, all your show info, all your everything. I don't know if you want to give your clothes sizes, but give everything else.
Can I just say ditto, but finding the Zodiac? Everything
that works.
Said, yeah. I for the obvious, obviously, is going to be my forensic document examination business, and Hit the Road Jack. Finding the Zodiac is the podcast that I do every Friday at 10 a.m. on all the same locations that Christine just mentioned.
Nice.
Very nice. Very
cool
nice.
beans.
Make
You
sure
guys
to tune into
rock.
the shows.
We love having you on the Adventures of Pipeman. At least I have more intelligent people than Rebel on the show. And
Rebel's amazing.
Rebel, you didn't remind me.
I was just going to say.
So we'll have to do that next week.
We ran out of time.
But I will say everybody has to leave the show and go make your Santa list, because today is National Santa List Day. It's your deadline. Pretend like it's your taxes. It's your deadline. Make your list today. I don't have to. I'm a Jew. I'm exempt. Okay. But I don't get anything either. I don't get anything either. So you guys have to show it me. So everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Tune in this week, every week, 1 p.m. Eastern time here on W4CY Radio, W4CY.com every Wednesday. The event.
Oh, we love
Pipeman. The Adventures of Pipeman right here on W4CY Radio, W4CY.com. Roll it, one.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.